This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 252 of the Dressage Radio Show on the Horse Radio Network. This episode is sponsored by Benefab Products. This is Hope Hand from Malvern, Pennsylvania.
And this is Regina Cristo from Sand Lake, New York. And you're listening to the Dressage Radio Show, brought to you this week by the United States Para-Equestrian Association. And we also have our producer, Glenn, with us. Hi, Glenn.
Hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
I'll tell you, Hope, it's good to hear your voice on here. Apparently, Lindsay, who normally does this, is in the world of sickness. So
yeah, poor Lindsay can't talk. I don't know if she's on the call listening, but we hope that she gets better real soon.
She, and you know that Lindsay's passing up a chance to come on the show. She truly can't talk. So,
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. I know, and it's really tough being sick and being pregnant, and you can't really take much medicine, so you got to kind of suffer through. So we all feel really bad for Lindsay and hope she's feeling better real soon.
It's going around, though, because I lost about 4 guests this week due to laryngitis and the illness that's going around. So
I was worried about Regina.
Yeah.
I just have just a simple cold, but sometimes you start like coughing. But so far, so good.
I'll keep the cough button ready, okay?
Oh, excellent. Thank you very much. I've got a big thing of water here, so.
You're welcome. Well, guys, you have some terrific guests planned for today. We're going to we're doing something a little different, aren't we? We're going to talk to trainers and riders at the same time today.
Yeah, we thought we'd put a spin on it.
So we have Jim Koford coming up with Mary Jordan, and then we also have Heather Blitz coming up with Anne. Is it Peavy?
It's Annie Peavy.
Annie Peavy. Okay, so we're going to hear.
It's a young rider, and I'm so excited about this year because this last competition featured several new young riders in the power world, which, they had fabulous horses, all of them, and they're coming up the ranks fast. So
what did happen last week? What are you referring to?
Well, it was the start of our 2014 season and WEG qualifier. That's the World Equestrian Games, which will be in Normandy, France, with all the other disciplines the end of this summer. So we competed a 3-phase event with the team test, the individual championship test, and the freestyle event over a 3-day weekend last week in Wellington at the Global Dressage Festival. And, it was just a fantastic event, fantastic venue. The weather was perfect. We couldn't ask for better. I just felt so guilty leaving everybody in the snow up north.
I bet you did.
I was heartbroken.
Yeah, I'm sure you were.
Through it. We cried every night, right, Regina?
Yeah, cried, yes, into our after-show drinks. So it was a fabulous, fabulous time. I think we had between the United States and Canada over 20 para riders and 25 horses, I believe, and it was a busy weekend.
It was one of the largest para-dressage shows since we started this venture.
Well, now, so you were down there at the same time as the festival was going on, so it wasn't just you guys. The able-bodied riders were riding too, so that your riders got to experience a very busy, very crowded environment. Very,
very busy, and that was during that March 12th through the 16th. A lot was going on.
And that's good, because that's what they experience when they end up going to WEG.
Oh, yeah. It mimicked the whole environment, that's why it's a wonderful venue to really, showcase and come out and get that experience.
Yeah, because your horses are a little fruitier. They're more up. They're more excited. There's just more going on, and the riders are too. And that's, if you don't have that experience at the big shows, before you go to WEG, boy, you get there, it's like, wow.
That is for sure. And there was actually 3 shows going on at the Global Festival. We had our Para-CDI. There was also regular CDI, 3-star or 5-star, I can't remember, and a national show. It was like a big 3-ring circus, so it was busy.
How did your riders handle it?
They were great. We really didn't have any problem with the riders or the horses. It was amazing.
Now,
yeah, it was a great weekend, wasn't it, Hope?
Yeah, I know it could get quite windy under that indoor beach lot. We had some, Becca Hart's new horse, wanted to test the waters out a little bit, and it got a little scary, but Becca's, a seasoned rider, and she handled it well, and she was able to get back on track and, did a great job the next day, got the horse settled. These horses are not your typical, a lot of people think that we have low-key horses because they're power riders, but they're like any other horse your able-bodied rider, would feel honored to own, really. It was quite a display.
That's good, because one of the problems I went through this with you guys 4 years ago, if you remember right, Hope. We were living this together. We were doing the World Equestrian Games radio show for the 2010 World Equestrian Games, and we actually did a fundraiser together and everything, and I got to meet everybody. One of the problems that you had back then was really having the quality of horses that you needed to compete on an international level, especially against the British. And so would you say you're better off this time going into WEG qualifications and WEG coming in the fall than you were 4 years ago?
Well, I don't know about better off. It's new. It's a very young group. Since the competition went own horse, and what that means is horse rider combination must qualify. It made everybody go out and say, whoa, we only have a year to go out there and find these quality animals. So it was a big challenge for the U.S.
Explain what you mean by that. So,
what that means, before, the riders were able to either borrow a horse, lease a horse, but qualify different horses. The riders themselves qualified for the event. Now, the actual horse rider combination must qualify at a qualifying CDI to be invited to the selection trial. So it makes it a little more difficult because you can't come up last minute with a horse and still make a team. So you have to form a partnership. So we did a little bit of scrambling this year. So we really didn't know what we had until we got to Florida. It was a surprise package for most of us because we're so spread out. We knew which riders, acquired new mounts and all. So we were just as excited to see what the performance, was and how it turned out. So very pleased that a lot of riders did qualify for the selection trials. They had to obtain scores over 63% in one of either the team or individual.
Regina, are there names that we're familiar with here on the show?
Becca Hart qualified.
Yes, they are.
Mary Jordan qualified. Mm-hmm. Sydney qualified 2 horses. And, our Sydney's our youngest young rider. Just turned 6. And then we had a couple younger riders that we've never even met that came, like Katie Schumacher from Oklahoma.
What was interesting, too, I thought, was that I've been around Para now since the WEG in 2010. But just seeing this group of people in Florida, I thought the quality of the horse was better. The new riders coming in, and I don't think people realize when they get to the CDI, like, what a big deal it is. The national show can be stressful enough, but a CDI is it's hard, and not everybody can get in and do well their first time. But boy, a lot of people that I talked to really learned a lot, and they're just hungry for more. They can't wait. Some people who didn't get their qualifying scores in Florida are taking their horses to California in 2 weeks for another qualifying show. So it's just really fun to see people come out and try to do it and be successful, or just keep trying. they're tough. It's a tough crowd.
The warm-up ring can be stressful at CDI.
It's unbelievable. I mean, it
was impressive.
Yeah, these young people are going from East Coast to West Coast, and so it's a challenge logistically and all the way around financially. So I commend them.
All right, let's talk about what happens next. So next we head to New Jersey for the
selection trials, that will take place at Gladstone from June 2nd through the 5th.
So on June 5th, will you know who then is who's going to be your team?
We should.
Okay. And then they have from that point until the fall to really get prepared for this. And I assume then that you got to fly the horses over and all of that stuff too.
Yes, we do.
Will they be heading over earlier and hit some competitions over there before WEG? Is that the goal? Or
that's the plan. The chef Kai Hunt is the new chef to keep for the Para team. His plan is to at least get over there 3 weeks early, and there's some 2-star competitions that he would like to do just to get them, in the mode and all working together.
So now the one difference too between this and the Olympics is in the Olympics the paras tend to compete after the main Olympics. Here you're competing at the same time, and the WEG you're competing at the same time as all the other riders. So you're there with all other 7 or 8 disciplines, whatever it is. You're there with all of them at the same time. That adds a new dynamic to it too for you logistically and otherwise.
Yeah, this will be the second time where the inaugural debut was at the WEG in Kentucky for 2010. So this will be our second time all together, and that's exciting for the riders, all of us really, to be there in that atmosphere, and be included.
And the parties are better.
Oh yeah!
Oh, they're fabulous.
Yeah, fabulous.
Glenn, I was at WEG in 2010 as a horse owner for Para. I had loaned my horse actually to another country because at the time nobody in the U.S. really needed a horse. So I kind of went into that, never had experienced anything like that, and was in the guts of it. And it was just unbelievable. I don't even know how many Para riders from around the world were there. 100 and something. All the top riders from the world, and just being in the guts of it. It was so much fun, and it was so neat. And, it's such a great experience for anyone who, earns the chance to be there. So it's quite exciting.
Well, people are starting to be curious about the facilities at this point. Do you know what kind of facilities you're going to have in France?
As far as the venue, I'm sure it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be a challenge, I hear, is, commuting. There's not a lot of infrastructure within the venue area, so we'll be driving, I think, a half hour or so, or 45 minutes to get to the venue, but it's supposed to be beautiful, and we didn't do a site visit this time, so I'm waiting for the aerial view to come over the internet.
Hey, Hope, I think me and you should take a ride over there and check it out. It's the least we can do for our country.
I volunteered us. We just need to find a place to stay.
And it is wine country, so I'd keep an eye on Regina.
I'll book our tickets tonight, Hope.
Well, I am very excited about the prospects for you guys this year. I think that no, I'm not actually this time. We're sitting this one out. With 11 different shows now on the network's a little different than when we were at WEG all those years ago. We had 3 or 4 shows, and now with 11 different shows and 2 daily shows, it's getting tougher for me to get away for that period of time.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it, Glenn. You need
I don't know either, actually.
Wow.
We figured we're going to get reporters over there. We'll have people that are reporting in and doing interviews for us, and Samantha from the Eventing Radio Show will be there. We'll have some dressage people there. So we're going to get coverage from there. It's just that I won't be there myself, and I can't be trusted in wine country.
Step in anytime.
Okay, good.
If you need help, just let us know.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely get reports from you guys for sure.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, we can do that anytime.
Okay, good.
Well, let's get to your first guest, and we're going to take a break for our sponsor here, Benefab Products. Tell us about Jim and Mary.
Tonight is Mr. Jim Koford, who is Mary Jordan's coach down in Florida. Jim has been immersed in the dressage community for the last 35 years. He has competed in the Grand Prix on 6 different mounts and has guided over 20 horses to FEI levels. He develops and trains his own horses and works with breeders to promote, train, and sell their young horses. Jim helps many top warm blood breeders by preparing their stallions for licensing and mares for performance testing. And with him today is our United States rider, Mary Jordan from Maine. Mary's been down in Florida this whole winter training with Jim, and they just had a nice show this past weekend, and we're happy that Mary could take the time to speak with us as well.
Are you tired of treating your horse for soreness? Well, then be proactive. Benefab offers you and your horse a natural remedy to joint and muscle stiffness, inflammation, and circulatory deficiencies. Benefab offers a variety of innovative products, like saddle pads and polo wraps and quarter sheets for your horse, and socks and blankets for you. Simply ride in it or wear it and feel the difference Benefab's ceramic-infused products make. You can check them out online at benefabproducts.com, or you can call them toll-free at 855-957-8378.
Hi, Jim. It's Regina. Thank you
Regina.
for coming on our show today.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
Really appreciate it. Great. So I just had learned that I understand that you knew Mary back when in her eventing days. Where did you and Mary compete together?
Well, I know her actually from the adult camp at GMHA that I do every year. And so, I've been familiar with her riding for years.
Oh, that's great. How long ago was that, would you say, approximately?
It's got to be over 10 years, off and on, the
Wow.
number of times I've been to camp, yeah.
So, Jim, you have a good understanding where Mary's coming from as a fellow peer in the eventing world. How has this experience helped you coach Mary during her stay in Florida this winter?
Mary, when it comes to competition, she approaches it, as she said, she's as serious as a heart attack. She is really, really gung-ho, really motivated, and, understands, fitness for the horses and fitness for the rider. And again, having an experience in eventing really does give you a sense of how to get a horse prepared for competition.
Right, which is so important no matter what kind of competition you're doing.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right, and did you find coaching a para-dressage rider any more challenging than any of your other clients, or was there any differences, or do you think it's pretty much the same?
I have coached para riders before, and I think I don't really see. Everybody has their own sort of talents and limitations, and it's not something that I consciously think about. As an instructor and a coach, I'm trying to get the job done and trying to work with a rider to get the most they can from the horse. So it's not something that I think about and think, oh, poor Mary, she can't do this. That wouldn't even enter my mind. Like I said, this is what needs to be done, and somehow between the two of us, we find a way to get it done. And there's no, oh, I feel sorry for you, can't do it because you have a disability. That wouldn't even enter either one of our minds. It's just we have to find a way to get it done. If we're struggling with the changes or the half pass or something, and but I have to say I work with so many riders that like I said, she's no different than any other rider I have. Like I said, it's just we just put our heads together and figure out the best way to get the horse and the rider working together and doing what needs to be done.
That's great. I've heard similar replies from other coaches as well, other trainers, that they just want to train who's on the horse, and that's how it goes. So
absolutely.
this was your first real exposure to the para-dressage sport at the CDI level. Did you get a chance to see some of the other horse and rider combinations, and what was your overall impression of the show?
I have to say the level of horses was really impressive. There were some super, super horses in the competition. And I mean, some of these guys were really, really well mounted, and so, like I said, it's just fun to see the level of competition. And these raiders are really going for it, and they're well mounted and well trained. And so, like I said, it's certainly, for Mary and for myself, if you got to put your best foot forward, you got to, really deliver the goods, because, like I said, there's a lot of people riding at a high level. So,
yeah,
like
it's
pretty
stiff competition.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling some people come to it and don't really realize what it is, and when, especially riders and they're new to para, they come to the CDI and probably don't know what quite to expect, and it's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
So,
it really is.
Yeah. What would you recommend other trainers like yourself? What would you recommend to them to get them more involved with para-dressage riders, and what would you tell them about your experience? Because we're always looking for new trainers and top-level trainers as well. What would be your advice to them? Bottom line is, I would say for the riders, just they need to seek out the coaches, because it's one of those situations that no trainer is going to advertise that they also coach para riders. I mean, it's one of those situations where if there's a para rider and they aren't interested in working with somebody, they need to step up to the plate and ask, because most of the trainers like myself would love to be helpful and involved with the program, but you don't really know how to get involved. So there's still a disconnect between the riders interested and the trainers that would also like to be involved. Right. It seems like the riders need to come to the trainers. The trainers aren't coming to the riders, in particularly. Sure. But I think the bigger this gets and the more people who learn about it will show an interest and just want to be part of the program, and the great people
absolutely.
who are the riders. So very good. So Mary, can I ask you, how did you like working with Jim this winter down in the nice southern Florida weather?
Oh, I had a great time working with Jim. It was really a breath of fresh air. I was so happy to reconnect with him up in Vermont this summer. And I really consider myself very fortunate to have the opportunity to, come down and spend the time in Florida with Jim, and my cousin Jennifer made it possible, living 8 miles away from the barn. So the planets kind of aligned, and we had a great time training.
That's great. That's great. And Mary, what are your plans in the near future? We hear you have maybe some plans to go across the pond.
Yes, I'm actually speaking to you from an airport in Atlanta. I'm coming back down to Florida to train with Jim this week, and we will be training Sebastian, and we're also bringing another wonderful horse on board that was donated to us from Catherine Haddad-Stoller and Vince Ramos Therapeutic Riding, which is just an incredible opportunity. So we're going to be in Florida for about a week, and then I fly to Paris, and we've got 3 shows scheduled, except we really won't be riding in the first one because of the flights and timetables. We want to allow the horse to have enough time to recover and things like that. So pinch me, I can't really believe this is happening. So
that's great.
Very excited.
Hey, Mary, this is Hope. Yeah, I was excited to get that news over the telegraph. I mean, it happened so fast, and Catherine is excited about this new prospect. So I know you'll do us proud. Who's going to take care of Sebastian while you're gone?
Well, I'm putting him in the most capable hands I can think of, and that is with Jim. Jim and Sebastian and I and Kelly, Jim's assistant, we've had a great working partnership here. So it makes it a lot easier to step away from one horse to get to know the other when you've got great people like that in your corner. So,
what's Jim think of the prospect? These 2 horses are very different in both size and temperament and all the way around, so it's going to be quite a challenge. campaigning both of these guys?
Well,
I
think it is the new horse is quite different, but Sebastian, we don't want to wait till Sebastian is completely retired before Mary is going to be moving on to another horse. So there is some time when she'll have two horses to compete, but I think it's necessary for her career to have a backup horse coming along behind Sebastian. So that was the reason for doing it.
That's great news, Jim, and I know how much you and Mary really like Sebastian, and he deserves the credit on getting her this far. Well, I know that Mary's at the airport. That's what the background noise is, so I don't want you to miss your connecting flight. But I want to thank you for being on our show today.
Thank you very, very much for the opportunity. And, Jim, I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning.
Sounds great.
And next up is Heather Blitz from Wellington, Florida. Heather has extensive background in dressage, and she became famous with her horse Rambo that she began training as a 12-year-old. The pair showed at the CDI Grand Prix level throughout Florida and dressage at Devon, where they placed third. Her current partner, Paragon, an 18-hand Danish warm-blood gelding, bred at Oak Hill Ranch, is Heather's current wonderful guide that she has shown successfully all through the level.
And, Heather is about 6'2" or 3. She's very tall. And if you take note what Hope said, 18-hand Danish warmblood is a huge behemoth of a horse. And
he looks normal on it.
Yes, exactly. I was going to say, Heather looks like she belongs up there, and it's a 16-hand horse. But the two of them together, if they ride by you, I don't know if you saw them together, but oh my God, they're tower above you.
I've seen them. They are impressive.
And they were a sight to behold. I mean, they were wonderful at Gladstone in 2012.
Yeah, it's just amazing to watch those two together. Tell me about Annie, though. Annie is your rider, and she's only 17 years old?
Just turned 17. Annie's a young rider, relatively new with Para, and I'm so excited. We have several new young riders coming up the ladder here, and Annie has done a phenomenal job this year. She's been training with Heather for about a year now, and I saw her at Socrates this season on her little horse Stuart Little, which is cute little warm blood. And since then, she went over to Europe. Really got some competitive mounts going, and she qualified both horses for the selection trials in this past competition.
So at the age of 17, she could be going to the WEG this year?
I think she has a good shot at it.
I do too. She is definitely a contender.
Really, she's impressive. I really didn't get a chance to talk to you at all, and I wanted to really get your impression of the whole Para-Dressage competition, and that was really the first CDI in 2014 qualifier event for the World Equestrian Games in Normandy. I understand this was your first experience coaching a Para-Dressage athlete. Am I right?
Yes, it was my first experience, and it was coaching just one athlete, so I didn't have to do with coaching a team, but I just had to do with coaching Annie Peavy, and been working with her since June of 2013. So it's been a wonderful experience and a lot of eye-opening stuff that, how much the athletes have to overcome, and just, more than able-bodied riders, and it's been a really great experience so far.
Yeah, what are some of those eye-opening things that you're talking about? I'm just curious, since we deal with it all the time.
Well, just seeing, as far as the eye-opening stuff, just like at the competition, seeing what some of the riders, what they're overcoming, some of the things that they deal with, and their handicaps, and it's just amazing how much they can rise to the occasion and learn and do what they do.
I know you were instrumental in helping Annie with acquiring or finding some, really nice horses for the competition. Tell me a little bit about that, and maybe Annie could chime in and tell us about these horses. I was quite impressed. She's a young rider. Annie, you're only 19, am I right?
17.
17. Well, you're mature. 17. I tell you, those horses, you're a lucky girl. I love your horses, and I know you've worked hard. So Heather, tell me a little bit about training these type of riders and forming these horse rider partnerships.
Well, I think it's always a bit of luck. I think we got a little bit lucky and found a couple of horses that Annie clicks with really well. She's a really great rider and has come a long way since I've met her. And yes, she's only 17 and a bit, and has really gained a lot of strength, both from the horses that she was riding that needed a bit more kind of a push than what is, what's best for her. So she really worked hard every day on those horses before we found the new ones, and she gained a lot of strength and stability in her body from riding those horses. But the amount of pushing that they needed just wasn't appropriate for her with what she has to deal with her left leg. So we wanted to find in our horse shopping trip horses that just had a little more natural sense of go. Like if she had to hold one back a little bit, that would be better for her than having to use a lot of strength in the legs to push them forward. So that was our main goal. And even though the strength that she found in her body riding those horses that she had is still definitely a benefit to her riding still, and that she knows how to use her body in a way to really add impulsion to a horse is really valuable. But the ones that she has now, she can ride in basically like a little more refined way, to not have to keep encouraging the horses to understand how to stay in front of her. So that was our main goal, and it was a very good friend of mine that we met with in Europe to help us find the horses so she could sort of scout out the qualities in the horses that we needed before we got there. And I've known her for a very long time. I know her very well, and I trained her as a rider also. So it was pretty easy to say for her to find something for us. And she did a lot of the work for us, and then we got there and tried a few, and Annie just really clicked with a couple of them, and they worked out for us.
Were you surprised? I don't know if you have any other experience seeing any of the para riders in Europe, but were you surprised as to the quality that we needed and the virtually at the FEI level for para, it's very comparable to able body to a degree. So were you surprised at the level of horses and competency in the riders?
Yeah, I think that there's a very high level of horses in the para competitions. I haven't seen, a lot of it yet, but what I saw at the competition in Wellington was the first CPEDI that I've been to. And other than that, just a little bit, I've just seen more stuff online. I haven't been around it personally for very long until I met Annie. So this is my first experience by helping her through these competitions. So I am learning, what sort of level they're producing and how nice the horses are. And whether I was searching for a combination in a para-dressage or an able body, I would still want to first find a horse that really matches the rider. And, it's nice that they're modern type and that they have really 3 basic good gaits. And then I really think whether it's able body or para, it's a matter of then the rider matching, it being the right pair together. And, if they are leaning more towards the horses that come also with fancy gaits, then, I would be inclined to encourage the sport to go the way of making it more about rider skill. So I would do whatever I could to make it more about that. I think the horse should have 3 basic clean gaits and bear sound, and be a nice match with each particular rider. I think it's absolutely the most important thing, and what it's all about.
Mm-hmm.
Right, that is true.
Because a lot of people really don't understand the sport, but it's really no different than able-bodied dressage. We ride the same 10-meter circles as able-bodied does. It's important that we know what the basics are, have all the training attributes that you would with able-bodied. So, in training, Annie, did you have to make any compensating, did you have to compensate in any way for her maybe deficiencies, her physical deficiencies?
Well, certainly. Her left leg is not as strong as her right, so if it comes to something like a half pass to the right, and she has to be a little stronger with her left seat bone or her left leg, and she doesn't have the strength in the same way that I would or an able-bodied rider would, then we have to be a little clever and, find exercises and find ways to, have her gain as much awareness in her body as possible. And some dismounted exercises, we talk a lot about biomechanics, whether it's Annie or an able-bodied student. And, I work just with her a lot, and she tries to give me as much feedback as she can, what's possible and what's not possible. And if it is, then I don't make any difference in the lessons with her than I do with anybody else. And if there's something that, just doesn't quite work well enough to get the job done, then we can stop and we break it down to quite small pieces as far as talking about body awareness and control until we find a way for her to really access enough control that makes it, that gets the job done. So, I would say that there's some compensation in her case, but she's pretty clever at finding a way to figure it out and get it done, and she relates to her horses very well. So she has great feel and great timing, and that's a big part of it too. And she understands the horses, so we try to make it less physical and more sort of timing and mental. And she does a great job with it.
So, Annie, it's Regina. I just wanted to ask you, what did you think of your first big show down in Florida and that whole atmosphere and everything that needed to be done, especially you riding 2 horses in the competition? Not too many people do that because I know how exhausting it must be. So what did you think?
It was a great experience with my new horses, and the show was such a nice facility to be able to ride in, and it went so smooth. And it was just a good start with my new horses, and looking forward to what they have in the future.
Great. What's your next thing that you have on your plan?
Well, besides the selection trials in June, I'm showing them in the FBI juniors classes this weekend at a national show, but for the able-bodied.
Great. So you'll do a little bit of that, and you're all set for the WEG selection trials. You got your scores on both your horses, I believe. So you'll be heading up to New Jersey.
Yeah.
How excited are you about that?
I'm very excited.
Good. And I hope, excuse me, Heather, you'll be with her all the way?
I will. Yes, as absolutely I will. We'll go to Blackstone together, and then for all the training, if she gets to go on from that, then I'll be with her for the journey to Europe as well, if she gets that far, and I'm sure she will.
That's
I'm counting on it.
Great. Now, Annie, I noticed you had quite an audience down in Florida last week, and I know I was there at the show, and it seems like you get a great amount of support from your family, too. Can you tell us a little bit what that means? Because I know a lot of the para-riders, it's got more young people coming in, and to have your support system there, what's that like?
Oh, it's great. Everyone came down to watch me show. They're very nice and supportive, and they're cheering me on and always there for me. That was good.
Awesome. I think I saw your mom holding her breath a little bit, too. So.
Oh, yeah, she doesn't breathe.
You want to explain a little bit about the physical attributes of a grade 3 rider?
Yes, like you mean like on my body, like my weaknesses?
Yeah, your weaknesses, and you're riding some pretty powerful big horses. They look well over 17 hands. They were impressive.
Yes, well, my whole left side is weak, but I work out with a trainer 3 times a week, so it tries to build up the strength, but it's just not like my right side does. But my new horses and my old ones adjust very well, and I just make different aids for them until we get everything we need.
I want to thank you both, Heather and Annie, for coming on the show and taking the time out of your, I'm sure, busy schedules to join us tonight.
Oh, well,
Thank
happy
you,
to
Emma.
join you. Thanks for inviting us.
The Golden State Dressage Festival, April 3rd to the 6th, is our second domestic qualifier for the WEG at Rancho Murrieta, California. So we have several riders traveling from the East Coast to California to compete in this competition to add to our list of qualifiers for the World Equestrian Games.
Yes, the second and last qualifier in the country. So we think everyone who couldn't make it to Florida is making it to California, and it should be a great, great show. I'm just sorry I'm not going to be there. Maybe I'll go.
It's California. Why wouldn't you?
Is there wine there? Is that
Yes.
so?
Yeah, there is
Okay.
wine in California. You'll be fine.
Okay. Phew. I
You'll be
digress
good.
so easily.
How many riders do you expect to show up in New Jersey for the selection trial?
I think we're going to have at least 10, at least.
Now, a lot of times with selection trials like that, you'll have a couple of days before the trial itself where you actually do clinics and seminars and things like that. Are you going to be able to accomplish that this year?
They're going to be doing some clinics all through the summer up to that point. I know that Kai has some clinics planned. We may take advantage of Clive Milkins from England, who is coming over in May to the New England area. So I am hoping, and he is the British trainer that trained Sophie Christensen to a gold medal. So we're going to take advantage of his skills with several of our riders sometime in May.
Yeah, he's kind of a big deal in your world. He's
big deal.
yeah.
Big deal.
And Glenn, at the same time the WEG selection trials are going on, our Para-Nationals are being run together with the WEG. So even if we only have like 10 or 12 or 14 riders looking for a spot on a WEG team, there's going to be a lot of riders there that are just there for their national championships.
Right,
Perhaps
right.
they didn't get their qualifying scores for WEG, but they will still be there.
And you know
They
what?
have up to 20 riders.
Gladstone is one of those places. I know that a lot of the land has been cut out and they've really been encroached upon from the way it was 30 years ago. But when you still go to Gladstone, it feels like you're still walking into history.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And our show, the Paris show, the National WEG Selection Trials, it's a standalone competition. So it's during the week. We will be in the main arena. It's going to be quiet. And we would love for people to come out and join us during the week.
I mean, just go out to see Gladstone.
Yeah. Oh, and there happens to be a World Equestrian Game selection trial going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. By the way.
Is like a hotel. It's just so beautiful, the brass and the tile work.
Oh, I would live there. I would live in the barn.
Yeah,
yeah, me too.
It's cleaner than my house.
Is there wine there, though? Oh, wait. Oh, shoot.
There's wine there. Don't worry about it.
We make the Paris team sound like a bunch of drunks, but they really aren't.
We're not. We're just a bunch of fun.
Now, your coach, on the other hand, I can't speak for her. I really can't.
No, speak English.
I want to leave my chair in the parking lot again.
Or
Well,
lock
guys,
ourselves out of the condo.
it's been fun having you on again. We really appreciate you joining us here on the Horse Radio Network on the Dressage Radio Show once a month. Of course, you can find all of the show notes for the Dressage Radio Show at dressageradioshow.com. All of our past episodes are there as well. And you can follow us on Twitter at Horse Radio. I want to thank everybody who has become an HRN auditor. That is sort of a membership program that we have going now where you can help support the hosts and everybody here at the Horse Radio Network. We're looking at expanding even some more, and with your help, that can happen quicker. You can help for as little as $1 a month, and we have all kinds of benefits that we are offering out to our auditors, including a once-a-month blooper reel from all the different shows, including Hope and Regina from today. All the bloopers will be in there for all of the auditors to hear. I didn't tell them about that before the show started.
Me too. I want to do it over again now.
Now I'm hoping that all the hosts screw up, so I actually have some bloopers.
We can do that if you want.
Yeah, no, it's not a problem. It happens normally. So we're going to do that as well as some other fun things that we're doing for the auditors. So thank you to all the auditors that have signed up already. We really appreciate your support. And where can people find out more about the United States Para-Equestrian Association?
At the USPEA.org.
And on Facebook.
Yeah, there you go. Also on
and
Facebook.
On
Yeah,
right,
don't forget
and
that.
Twitter.
And Twitter. You can follow them on all those places. Just go to uspea.org. And don't forget to check out all the rest of other shows on the Horse Radio Network. There's 11 of them at horseradionetwork.com.
Oh, wait, I came up with I have a clever little
Oh, you have a clever
thing.
closing? Oh, yeah, I want to hear it. All right, go.
Oh, you do too?
All right, we'll do them both. Regina, you first.
A horse is like a violin. First, it must be tuned, and when tuned, it must be accurately played.
Great.
That's very good.
Okay. When you go to take your partner in the arena, make sure you are leading, but you are united in the dance.
Very good. 2 great closings.
Very nice.
Hey, what other show do you get 2 closings in the Para Show?
I don't know.
No other show.
Top
Thank you,
that,
guys.
people.